Today we are looking at The Magic Order by Mark Millar and art by Oliver Coipel and Stuart Immonen. What's going on, Omnibuddies? Mitch here, and today, yes, we are looking at The Magic Order by Mark Millar. And man, so this is the one of the latest books to come out from him, and it is published by Dark Horse, and dang, is this a cool book. I had no idea what I was getting into with this, other than the art looked cool and it's Mark Millar, so you know what, you're probably gonna get a pretty good story, and so why not jump into it and check it out? And that's what I did, and that's what we're about to do, because dang, was this a fun book. So this is The Magic Order. This is about the scale of a library edition. This comes to us from Dark Horse Comics. So if you have any Dark Horse comics that are library edition size, this will fit that bill. This is by Mark Millar with art by Oliver Coipel and Stuart Immonen. And it does retail for $59.99 USD. This hardcover includes beautiful gold gilding along the page edges. So if you are into some really nice looking books, this one does definitely fit that definition, especially with that neon pink ribbon that is included. The build of this book is super good quality. The pages are nice and thick, and the sewn binding is definitely really strong. You do not have to worry about it. So the elevator pitch of this book is there's a reason you've never seen a ghost. By day, these people live among us as our friends, neighbors, and coworkers, and by night, they are sorcerers, magicians, wizards that protects us from the forces of darkness. This does collect the first two series in 12 issues. So volume 1 is issues 1 through 6, and volume 2 is issues 7 through 12. This book definitely starts off by hitting the ground running, because it jumps right into it with the gore and a little bit of the horror factor of a little child murdering his parents. It's aggressive in its violence throughout this entire story. So right from there, you get into obviously something is going wrong, and the Magic Order, which is again the secret underground order of magicians, has someone coming after them, and they are being murdered, and they're trying to figure out not just who's behind these murders and these assassinations, but they're trying to figure out the why behind it. And pretty quickly you are actually introduced to the who and a bit of the why. The why does reveal slower, but you definitely get it pretty quickly, and then it's just a lot of ramping up and seeing which magicians and which group really hold all the cards and who has some cards up their sleeves. So while there are two separate stories in this, like I said before, the first half is sort of self-contained, but definitely leads into the second volume. I would not recommend trying to read volume 2 first, because you're going to be pretty lost in it. So you definitely need to read this in order as it is printed, and you will be good to go. So if you do pick up this book, just read it straight through. As far as the plot goes, you're mostly following a single family that is in charge of the Magic Order, and what happens when parts of these family members are struggling with different things, and there's betrayal, and there's drug addiction, and there's depression, and all of this stuff. And you do get a lot of extra characters that are tied into the family and kind of live around this family within the order. It's a very cool story that has a lot of depth and world building, and it is all fleshed out very nicely. So let's get this out of the way. This book is violent. It is gory. You will see people torn apart, explode, eyes popping, guts all over the place, all of it. It does not hold back in the gore factor. There is some nudity in it. So fair warning, if you're not into gore or nudity, this book will have that, and you should stray away from it. But as far as the art goes itself, it is really great. There are so many details in the pages of these books. The background cityscapes, the foliage, the plants, the people, they're all fleshed out. They're all really well rendered, and there is such great emotion on all of their faces throughout this book. You can pick up what these characters are feeling. The terror, the sadness, the joy, all of it is right there on their faces, so you don't even have to read the words to get what they're feeling, which is great. That's a sign of a great artist. As far as the color goes, it really supports the art itself too, so it does not detract, but it also does not add a ton to it. Neither one really shines over the other, so they do fit together really nicely. Some of these pages have really, really great color pops and really great effects going on. I really loved it and enjoyed it. As far as the panel structure goes, there are some interesting things that happen throughout this book with some overlapping panels and some stuff jumping around, some double page spreads on top with paneling across the bottom. So they do mix it up here and there, but for the most part, it does stick to the traditional paneling of left to right, top to bottom. When it comes to extras of this book, it does have some supplemental mini biographies for the creators, the artists, and all of that, which is super cool to see. And then it does go behind the Magic Order with a look at the production drawings used by Oliver Coipel when he was creating this. So you get to see a lot of the backgrounds of the characters as they're designed and a little bit about them. Then you do get a lot of the art for the covers in here. So you get a really great lengthy cover art gallery section in here. And to finish it off, you do have this Millar World titles and the reading order, which I had never seen before. So that was super cool to see. So you can see where the books are that you've read and haven't read yet, and get the whole picture from a high level of which books go where in the Millar world. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that overview of it, and I did not spoil too much or anything like that, but wow, was that a cool book. It was definitely a kind of like a darker version of like Now You See Me, or any of those like just magical like orders, and like Harry Potter meets like, I don't know, something a little bit more organized and darker or something. I don't know. It was super cool. I really enjoyed it. It was just like, I love when they take these kind of, you'll hear me say this quite a bit in my videos, but like these old tropes and turn them on their heads or add something new to them. And this definitely did this in like the family aspect of things, with like the, you know, the child who's like the favorite child, or the like outcast child, and then the like screw up or anything like that. Really cool to see how all of these characters play together, especially in a family sort of way. And then also how it all works in the kind of overarching world of like the Magic Order. And then even in the much larger world of just the regular world, how they treat that and how they address these crazy things that are happening in this, you know, in the world itself, and how people who aren't magical and don't know about all these things deal with it or don't deal with it, how they interact with it. Super cool. The art, again, fantastic. Loved it. I guess if I had to complain about one thing, it would just be that I wish that there was more like big page spreads, but there were a fair amount of them in there. But I do love when a book like this lays so flat, and then you just get this giant like spread, like double page spread across it. Super cool. But dang, was like the book itself really good. The art was phenomenal. The story was super cool. I loved that it kind of told two parts of the story separately. So the first 6 issues is kind of a sort of self-contained story, and the second 6 issues are another kind of continuation, but also self-contained. Really cool way of doing it. Definitely want to see more of this, but there's, you know, it is a complete story as is, but it would be very cool to continue exploring this world. I mean, they show a lot of different time periods flashing around and jumping to different points. So they definitely could hit up a bunch of different time periods in the past or even in the future, which could be actually really cool. I love sci-fi and this kind of fantasy stuff, so maybe if they brought those two together, I don't know, who knows. But it was super fun. If you want to grab this book, make sure to hit up OPB, use code Omnibuddy, save $2 off every order. If you're ordering 4 or more books, use Omnibuddy ship it together code and get 5% off your entire order. You can do all those things, supports my channel, helps me keep doing what I'm doing here, and supports OPB. They are a great comic book distributor too. But yeah, don't forget to use those codes. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notification, do all of those things. But the most important thing to do, and I say this in every video, is to comment. Let me know what your favorite book out there is that deals with magic. So, you know, it could be, you know, futuristic, past, could be, you know, sci-fi takes, or, you know, whatever. Just what is your favorite book? And try and keep it self-contained, not like the super long story that people have to jump into. But if it could be like one book that's self-contained, that would be very cool, so that we could all jump into getting to know some more magic out there and getting some more similar fantasy vibes going on. All right, that's it. I'll let you go. Take care. Stay cool.